Aloha, this is Jonathan, and I am so happy to be able to actually introduce my own deck. Of course, this is going to have a little bit of update. I'm going to take away the by and my name, which you can't even see in the clouds right now. I'm going to make white so it's visible. And then there's going to be two cards in here that I think I'm going to end up changing, just because what it looked like on the screen is not what got printed. Like even this, when I saw this on the screen, my name was very visible, and here it's like I kind of have to fight to even see it, which I don't really want to do. And then of course I made a little tin to go with it. All this is on make playing cards, and then I used a linen cardstock. Yeah, so let me show you a little bit of my cards. So I did make a few changes to the basic Lenormand system. Not really the system, just some of the cards I made more Hawaiiana, right? So as an example, you know, the rider is riding a surfboard instead of a horse, right? Clover, just a generic clover picture, but you know, you can find these everywhere, including Hawaii, surprisingly. Ship. So some of these photos I actually got from Pixabay, but a lot of them I also took myself. A traditional Hawaiian hale, or house. This is a banyan tree that I've touched this tree. This is actually an image down here that's not part of the image. There's lava, so this is actually smoke from lava. You can see the lava glow. And that way you get a dark side and a light side of the clouds. This is a generic sea snake image, just because I wanted a snake. I could not find a proper picture. There is a Hawaiian yellow-banded sea snake, but I was not able to find any pictures that were usable for this. So this was the closest thing I could find. Coffin. I've actually been to places where you can see these stone coffins just sitting on top of the ground, because you know we don't really have ground here. We've got lava with stuff growing on top. Here's a change I made. Instead of a bouquet, I did lei, because it's pretty much the same thing, right? Leis are all about being social. You get them during weddings and graduations and birthdays, and you'll see these kids leaving their graduations covered in leis, like so many leis piled on top of them they can't even, like some of them can't even see over the top. So this is very much in correlation with the idea of the bouquet, but Hawaiiana style, right? Scythe, I picked a machete. This was an image off Pixabay. Just because I don't personally own a machete, but I thought that would be the perfect combo for the scythe card. Whip. This is actually funny. This is a this is a fly swatter. It says right here, fly swatter. It's a fly swatter with a slipper at the end. And it's actually, I took this picture. This was one of my neighbors owns this. Kind of as a joke, but I thought it'd be perfect for the whip card. Here's a card that I decided I'm going to switch out. So these are Hawaiian nene. They're indigenous just to Hawaii. They're actually endangered, but I did not like how this one's beak was cut off and they seemed a little too far apart here. So I'm going to change this card to be a couple of zebra doves sitting together, just because they're closer and it just gives a little more of that birds vibe. For those of you who don't know, I do have a son named Apollo, and this is a baby picture of his that I took. It's one of my favorite pictures I've ever taken of him, actually, and I had to include it in the deck. Instead of fox, I'm putting a mongoose, because mongoose are pretty much, you know, they're the ones that a lot of farmers here have to worry about them stealing the chickens or chicken eggs, and so in a way they are the equivalent of sorry, still getting over a cold. My son got me. So they're equivalent of the fox. They're very sneaky, and it just seemed kind of fitting to make the mongoose into the fox card. Instead of bear, I have boar, because there's no bear here, but we do have tons of wild boar, and they're very maternal. They have all the same kind of characteristics that you usually see in the bear card, so it just seemed very fitting to do the boar. Stars, one of the best places to see the Milky Way is right here in the middle of the Pacific. That's why we have, like, God, just on Maui alone, I think there's like 10 observatories on top of Haleakala, I think. 10, 15, something like that. And that's just this island. I know the other islands also have observatories on top of mountains, because they're some of the highest mountains in the world with the least light pollution. So we get some of the best pictures of the universe from there. Here's another one I changed. Instead of the stork, I used stilt, because the stilt is actually part of the stork family, but this is a native Hawaiian stilt. And you still get that same image, right? This is a dog playing in the ocean. I couldn't get more fitting than that. This is a lighthouse that's over on Oahu. Perfect for the tower card. Garden, again, this is a garden over on Oahu. It was just a pretty image with the path going through, so I thought it'd be perfect. Crazy mountains here, right? We have some of the highest mountains in the world, if you count from seabed, right? Another shot from someplace in Oahu. This is the Crossroads, right? So I got all the signs pointing. There's Pearl Harbor that way, Antarctica that way, right? So Crossroads, very fitting. Instead of mice, because I mean we do have mice here, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of mice that came from the ships, right? But in reality, for us, the thing that seems to infest our houses even more than mice are these geckos. This is a gold-dusted day gecko. This is actually a picture I took myself in my backyard, and it's they chirp like they're kissing. They leave little poops that look like little mice poops everywhere. We don't mind them as much as mice, because instead of eating crumbs, they're there to eat the bugs in the house, so we kind of don't mind that. But overall, they do like to it just definitely feels like sometimes they're spying on you and stuff. That's why I did that with the O over the I. Here's another one I'm going to change. I actually already changed it on Make Playing Cards. I'm just waiting. Hopefully by the time this goes out, the link will be live. But I actually traded out this image for, I took this blue wait, what is this one? Aragonite, I think. Blue aragonite. I took this down to the beach and took a picture of it with like the water just hitting it. So that is going to replace the heart image, just because a friend of mine who is a graphic designer was like, how can you tell that's a heart? There's too much black right here. So yeah, I'm going to switch this out. But this is actually a heart hole that was in a like swoop of lava. Unfortunately, I cannot get another picture because during a big storm that rock actually fell apart, so this heart hole doesn't exist anymore. This ring is one that I actually made myself when I was taking jewelry class. I still have it somewhere. Book. What better for a letter than a letter in a bottle, right? Just seemed kind of fitting. Then instead of gentleman and lady or man and woman, I did masculine and feminine statuary. That way it could be good for anybody, right? Masculine woman or feminine man, masculine man, feminine woman, whatever. Even non-binary, right? If you lean more towards the feminine but you're non-binary, or lean towards the masculine but you're not non-binary, there you go, right? This is a beautiful water lily. It's actually over at one of the resorts here in Kihei, or not Kihei, Wailea, sorry. This is actually the sunrise at Haleakala, and I love this picture. And I also took this picture of a full moon from my upstairs lanai, or balcony, as you call it on the mainland. Another one of my pictures. See, most of the pictures I actually took myself. There was just a handful that I just didn't have any for the deck, so I hit up Pixabay. But this is one of my pictures that I took specifically for this deck. These are some old skeleton keys that I inherited from my grandmother. And this is actually just hanging on an area over by our pool with, this is a ornamental fig that it clings and climbs, and yeah, it just makes my whole area beautiful. There's another picture I took here at the Maui Aquarium, and that is a humu humu nuku nuku apua'a. We could just call it a humu. That is the traditional fish of Hawaii. It's not really found anywhere else. It's also known as a Picasso fish because of the way the coloration is so crazy. Here's another picture of my son when he's older, but this is the anchor, and I took this picture probably about a year ago now, I'm thinking, and it just was, when I started making this deck, I thought of this picture specifically. This is actually one of the pictures that made me want to start this deck. And then this is from Pixabay. It's an image over on, I believe it was, oh God, I can't remember if it was Oahu or Kauai, but it's a spot where, oh, I'm forgetting the story now, but it's a spot where someone had died and they had put up this cross as a memorial. I did not take this picture myself. I found it on Pixabay, but I know the spot, so I just wanted to include it. And you know, I myself am not Christian, never have been. I was raised Jewish, but I know that, I mean, I guess I could have changed this out too, but I feel like I had changed so much in the deck itself already that I didn't really want to add yet one more change for people to wrap their brains around. So, I mean, I guess I should have, but that's okay. Aloha, I realized that last little bit of video wasn't going to be quite long enough for my usual. So I just finished shuffling and I thought maybe we should look for the whip as representation of conflict in the world. Just to see what's going on conflict-wise and maybe see if something better will come, right? Let's see, where's that whip? There's the whip right there. Okay, so that. Okay, here we go. Let's organize that a little bit better. Let's see. Can you see? Oh, you can't see the bottom. I'm gonna push this up. Still can't really see, can you? Okay, let me try zooming out just a little and readjusting. No, it's not readjust. I'm just going to hold it up. You can kind of see what's going on here anyway. So of course I put the whip in the middle because that's what the focus is, right? Is the conflict. Interesting enough, we have house, clouds, coffin, and mongoose. So, yeah, well, it pretty much describes the whole war right now, doesn't it? Someone invaded the house, is causing all kinds of, like hey, you guys can escape, but then we're going to bomb you while you're trying to escape, right? And we're going to cause lots of death, and we're going to be sneaky bastards about it. We got the mongoose down here, right? And then we got garden and ship paired here. Ship is down here. So garden and ship is telling me that as a society, it's time to move on from this kind of like crap that we're finding ourselves in, right? And until we actually embrace the knowledge that the lily, right, the lily can bring to us, I don't see how this is ever going to end. There's just too much going on as far as the whip, right? There's something at home as well as abroad. There's lots of confusion and clouds. There's lots of death and sneakiness. Yeah, until we learn better, right, and move on as a society, we're never going to find happiness, right? We're never going to find those things that will help us bring, oh, what's a better way of putting it? God, sorry, I'm at a loss for words here, just because it kind of touches home a little much for me, considering I have Ukrainian ancestry. So right, until we learn how to be serene with each other, learn to let go, learn to let that old way of thinking move away, right? So yeah, that conflict is not going anywhere anytime soon. It's just going to get worse until we, as a collective, as a whole planet, moves on, right? Anyway, I just want to extend the my video just a little bit. Hope you enjoyed. Oh, I think there's someone coming. I'll talk to you later. Aloha. And that, my dears, is the Hawaiian Lenormand. It comes in the tin. I made sure to include the tin in the order. 36 cards. And yeah, it is my first deck that I've ever made, and I'm pretty proud of myself. I didn't know I had it in me, but there you go. I did it. Woohoo! So I will be posting the link in the description. Hopefully it's the updated version. If you want this version, let me know. I won't delete that one until the other one's live anyway. So yeah, let me know what you think in the comments. I will probably put this up as a premiere because I am not going to be on Maui next Tuesday when I usually do my lives. It's my son's spring break, so we're going over to the Big Island, also known as Hawaii. That's actually the proper name for the Big Island, is Hawaii. That's where the whole state got its name. And I will be tuning in on this premiere on my phone, and yeah, I'm so excited, and thank you for being here. And yeah, let me know what you think. Do you like the things they changed? Would you wish I hadn't changed certain things? I'm all about the good feedback, proper feedback. Yeah, oh gosh, I think this is the start of something beautiful and new, and I cannot wait to make another deck. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you love this as much as I do, and until next time, aloha and a hui ho.